Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to our Imperial Japanese Navy Let's Play on War on the Sea. Joining us straight off the last episode where we're fighting off a couple submarine attacks lurking around the island of Guadalcanal. Here we are with our main task force trying to make sure that we don't get any pesky, any more submarines really at the moment I think. We haven't sighted any real surface fleets for a while I don't think. So we're waiting for our own supply convoy to come in and rearm and just man Guadalcanal and try and fend off the invasion there. So without further ado, let's get to the strategic map. Well, here we are. We have a couple of things to think about here. First of all, what the hell are we doing? So, of course, we have I-17 and its prospective Jake over here searching for the carrier task force. And the fact that I haven't seen it for a while makes me think it might be towards the New Hebrides, the American HQ here. Perhaps rearming, perhaps relocating, we don't know. We have the I-15 over here, just passing through, being our patrol ship at the moment. I think this is actually what we're going to be stuck with, what we're going to try and keep with at the moment as far as presence is concerned. I don't really want to reinforce this particular task force. I might give it either another heavy or a light cruiser, just for that extra little bit of firepower. But I think we're okay there, so long as we're able to use the Ryujo properly. I think we'll be okay. But then again, that's been the plan from the start. And how well has that been going for us? So we do have some Kates in the sky here. So it's a 3. That'll bring us up to 9 total Kates. So I think we're going to tell the Ryujo to rearm again very quickly. So useful having this secondary base in the Shortland Islands. It's so good for the Japanese to be able to do that, because you will be needing to rearm so often, as we have seen. So, without further ado, I think we should get going, really. There's nothing else to say, I think. Just waiting for some action to happen. Yeah, we know Ryujo's ready. Is I-15 ready to launch his Jake again? No, that's landed. Might take some time, though. No, okay, let's go straight for it. Yep. And I think we're going to want to go down here a bit. And we're going to bring it actually out down here to check our flanks. And that will do for now, I think. Actually, no, the Mogami over here should have a Jake available. So let's use that. We're going to actually scout out around here and come around this island here with that. Let's go. So I'm interrupting us there because I did just catch a small glimpse of a scout plane coming off of this sort of direction, off of Guadalcanal. So I think we're going to launch some fighters actually from the Ryujo, just to have a look around here, because that is rather scary and rather close. We're going to do quite the messy nav point there, just to double check what's going on. Yeah, that's okay. If Ryujo is ready to launch more aircraft, I think what we're going to do is launch some more Zeros until they go to our main task force, just to give some cap over there. Let's get going. Really interesting to see what's actually about here. There's another 5 merchant ships, 1 heavy cruiser. This is one we saw earlier, I believe, then. So what we're going to do is actually launch some Kates again. All 9 Kates. Doesn't matter if we lose them, of course, because we're right next to the Shortland Islands to repair. And we're going to try and sink, I think, at least the heavy cruiser. And maybe a escort ship, I think, a merchant ship rather. Excuse me. So I-15's ready. Where was that one? It's this one, isn't it? Let's go and launch some Jakes. I'm going to go out around this way, although I think perhaps the Kingfisher we spotted earlier is maybe from there. Well, that's okay. We're going to launch one from the I-17 as well, if it's possible. Excellent. And we're going to go up around here, because we did see another Kingfisher. Just making the weirdest pattern here. That's okay. We're going to drop one from the Suzier again. And again, not thinking too hard about where we're dropping these. Just getting all bases covered, I think, is the problem at the moment. So it looks like they're being a bit indecisive about whether they want to go to Guadalcanal or not over here. That's not going to be a problem. Means that our Kates can catch up with them and actually intercept them before they get to our fleet. So, main target is going to be the heavy cruiser, which is over here. It is, of course, a Northampton, so we're going to identify it as such. Just going to target it. Gets to... That didn't target us because we haven't actually got sight of it on the map yet, so let's give it some time, shall we? While we're doing that, just to help us out, we're going to look at it through the binoculars. There you go. I believe that is a trick you can use if you're having trouble actually identifying things on the map, but you can see them in real life. Just look through the binoculars and it will help you out a bit. There we go, Northampton. I think actually looking through binoculars might actually help with your firing solutions when you're using your surface ships as well. However, whether I'm not 100% sure about that, but I have heard such things. So we're going to try ever so slightly different this time. I think we're going to try with the Vic formation, because I believe that is ever so slightly tighter than the usual line abreast formation. Of course, we're going to do the usual, get straight down, try and get out of the AA range while we're diving, like that. And I'm going to get, I think, what we're going to do is actually use, I think we're going to use these two Kates here, and they're going to form up in Vic as well. And these three Kates are going to form up, and they're going to attack a supply ship. Okay, and they're going to attack this. So they're going to attack the one behind the Northampton. Why not? Let's go for that. So they're going to need a little bit of extra time to form up. That's not a problem. That's okay. So we're going to assume that these torpedoes are going to be enough. These 6 that we fire from the first 2 should be okay. You can take a little bit of extra time. That's, yeah, actually that's fairly in keeping with everyone else. That looks good. Let's get going. And pray we don't lose too many people to their flak on the approach like we have done before. You see they're already firing. The distance to target is 4 kilometers. Let's actually try and just look at exactly what the... what's the range of their dual purpose? Yes, so the range is 12 kilometers, but I doubt that's where the flak fires to, because that's a humongous range for their flak to fire to. Unfortunately, it's not actually going to tell us, is it? No, it just says that's possibly shorter range in some areas. Of course, the best way to attack is from the stern. But that's really a way you'd attack if you're using bombs rather than torpedoes, of course. They are taking evasive manoeuvres, so that's going to be rather difficult to hit them. What that does mean is that we're going to already have to take our own actions to counter that. So we're going to make a slightly wider arc out here. And we're going to leave the attack until the last second if possible. These Kates are looking okay with that, but I think we're going to try on that attack vector there. Okay, so I've just noticed that these Kates have not been told to go down. That is rather a stupid mistake there. They're going to have to circle back round again, and hopefully that'll be alright. Just get them round. That's just negligence and stupid mistake on my part, which means their attack is going to be delayed. Because of course they cannot drop torpedoes from this height. They just explode on the impact of the water there. But actually what that means is we can launch an attack with this flight, which I think we would do now. Yeah, that's better. So you see, I'm just going to take a second to see the Vic formation here is that this form a sort of very, almost like an arrowhead shape there. The line abreast being a straight up line, this narrows them off a bit. So hopefully that reduces the spread with their torpedoes when they do drop. Now, we'll just double check which, I think we're going for this ship here with this group. So they just need to go in a little bit further. Yeah, I think we'll attack from here. That's good, that's good. Alright, I'm going to tell this lot to increase their speed a little bit because I really think we're going to lose a plane before we drop here at this rate. There we go. Called it! Called it. But we have dropped, so that's 3 torpedoes off. And we're going to tell them to get straight out as always because it's just nice, you know? I like to try and preserve my my men. Of course I do. So the thing here is that their evasive manoeuvres have actually meant that they're in a tighter formation now. So if any torpedoes, again, if they miss, there's a fair chance that they will hit someone else. So we've lost the first flight, not a problem. Let's go in and watch this, shall we? Okay, so you can see this our next flight of Kate is extremely close and within attack distance, but we're going to take a quick report on what we have hit there. So it's like the Northampton has taken 3 hits, and so has the supply ship. We're going to take a quick action report to see exactly what's happened there. So the Northampton is on heavy and heavy. I want to absolutely make sure that does sink because that's going to be the threat. We're now going to move as if we are definitely going to engage this with our surface fleet, and of course that Northampton is going to be the biggest threat in that. So the destroyers are not a problem, and of course the supply ships aren't either. Although I have, I'm going to admit now, I have lost a destroyer to supply ships before, just being rather careless. There we go, which one's that? That's the supply ship sinking, brilliant. So we're going to tell these to attack the Northampton. And they're going to increase their speed, just to make sure we get these off. Should be dead in the water now. It said the speed is 0. You can see, look at all those fires from stem to stern. It's a beautiful sight there. Beautiful sight. This is for Takao. Oh my god. So yeah, we did lose one on that run, but that's absolutely fine. Yeah, we lost both of them. They did drop. Because the speed is 0, I think we've knocked out their engines completely there. So one of them's going to hit. So that one looks like it's just off anyway. There we go. Hopefully that finishes it off there. Alright, and how's this one looking? If that one carries on, if it picks up its speed, the next one will hit, but I really doubt it. So order a retreat just to get the timer working. But otherwise, I think it's in critical and critical. That's going to be a sunk ship. If we look again at the Northamptons, we have sunk 2 of them. This will be our 3rd out of 6, so only half of them will be available. We're even less than that at the moment because the Houston itself doesn't become available until later in the campaign. I can't tell you exactly when, but that is brilliant stuff because the Northamptons are an excellent class of cruiser. So much AA on the backs there. Look at all of these small calibers. They do have dual purpose secondaries as well, which is why they have so much flak coming off. But so I think now we're just going to wait until that sinks. So I'll see you in a second. Just as I say that. You can't catch a break, can you? Oh, that is brilliant. That is a devastating attack then. A supply ship and this lovely, lovely Northampton is down. So let's get back to the strategic map and celebrate. You know, the best thing about that victory is this, we did of course get an extra 10 points to use for future ships. So first things first is rearm the Ryujo. Excellent stuff. How does that work out actually? Yeah, so it does, yeah, brilliant stuff. I thought he'd give us 24 and then maybe not count for the Kates we have in the sky. I don't know why, but you know, sometimes games do not work. So we're going to bring up the Ryujo, of course, in the usual place. We are, of course, going to keep scouting with zeros and such when we can because that supply convoy does, of course, have 2 destroyers. And we're getting so close now to night time, which means we won't be able to launch any aircraft. So if that's the case, Ryujo will be a sitting duck. And, of course, so will this task force, actually. Yeah, that's a little bit of a problem, but it doesn't matter, we'll be fine. We need to keep this task force here, unfortunately, so that they don't land any more troops onto Guadalcanal, because we are rapidly losing that battle. So that's all we can say at the moment, I think. Let's go. Yeah, with now it's night time. We're not going to be able to launch any aircraft. Here we go. So they did go straight to Guadalcanal. Brilliant stuff. Let's get into that, shall we? I wonder if we can launch from the Susia, actually. I know I just said it's night time when we're not going to be able to. But I know we needed to on the tactical map, didn't we? The strategic map, rather. It's not a problem, not a problem. Just thought it might be a bit easier to spot things. So we're going to turn off fire at will because I hate that. It's a personal choice, really. You really can't stand. I thought I told everyone to do it. You fool. Where is it? Turn off fire at will. There we go. Yeah, like I say, I don't like fire at will because you have little control over what your ship's doing in the first place of this game. I find, anyway. Really doesn't help half the time. So it did look like on the strategic map that they were quite a way away from us. So the Japanese actually have a real disadvantage when fighting at night as far as visibility is concerned because they don't have the surface radar that the Americans do. Even though our Yugimos here do have a form of surface radar. If we look here, the sensors, surface radar says 26 kilometers, but I've found that's not necessarily the case. We should definitely be within 26 kilometers here. But it's going to come down to good application of star shells and actually spotting them properly with our binoculars. And as you can see, it is pitch black. Though those look like some lights over there. What are we looking at here? The bearing is... There we go, that might be us actually. Should we look at that? What's the bearing there? Yeah, that's roughly where we're looking at actually, so that must be them. We're going to fire some star shells off at that. If possible, we can see if we can identify it here. So that's one of the cargo ships we did hit earlier. Excellent stuff. So we're going to identify it as such there. Battered C3. So what we're going to do, what's the range on that? 11 kilometers. Our radar should easily pick that up. So we're going to get the Makagumo to, I think, come around this sort of course here so we can cross their T and of course stop them from getting to Guadalcanal. Going to roleplay that a little bit. And we're going to tell them to go max speed unless the Susia can't keep up with that. Yeah, max speed is 35. Let's bring that down just a little bit. We're now at 34, a nice happy medium there. The range is 14 kilometers, I think, on these. We have 40 star shells left in our main front firing battery there. So we're going to get the Susia to do that as well with its secondaries, I think. Yeah, fire like that. We have 80 there. Excellent stuff. Of course, we've spotted another ship here. So we're going to identify it while we can. We're going to take the opportunity as soon as we can. That says Mogami, even though it's weird that it follows the picture rather than the text, because it's certainly not a Mogami. There we go. And another one. And another one. Weird we can't see the destroyers, because they're definitely here. Should we decide on what we have? That looks like a Benson because it has 2 modern enclosed guns and a lack of torpedoes. This looks like it was the Gridley, wasn't it? We've been seeing quite a lot, which I keep forgetting how to identify. Alright, so how are we looking? Where are the star shells landing? Over here. So we'll wait for those to go up a little bit. And we'll get some targets set by our other ships, I think. So I'm going to go for number 2 here. If you could go for HE and hold on that just very quickly. And Akizuki, I think I want you to go for number 3 actually. Mostly because that one's peeling off and getting away. I think we're going to get the Susia to go for that as well. We are of course going to try and go for the line formation. That's so we can get maximum torpedo spreads off. We do sort of block it ourselves off when we take the circular formation. And there we go, there's the destroyers in range now. So I'm actually going to change targets to them. because obviously those are going to be the ones that hurt us the most. I've got to identify them. This, like we said, should be a Benson. Let's have a look. No. Benson, yeah, that's looking like it. How is it different to Gleaves? That's the question. Not seeing any difference there. So we're going to say Benson, just because I like that one. And this one should be a Gridley, if we remember properly. It's looking like it, so let's go for it. And of course, we're going to get Makigumo to fire at, the directors were on Benson. So go for that. And so Akazuki, you're going to stop firing at that ship and you're going to fire straight at the Benson there, I think. Get your auto-loaders working, please. Suzuya, you can do the same. Get both of your directors off and fire at, I think, Gridley. Yeah, just fire HE full spot there. You can do the same with that. We've got the Makigumo doing its star shells there. Everything, please, can fire at some sort of destroyer. That would be great. Yeah, let's do full spots there. Excellent stuff. So the distance isn't too far, so we should be getting a decent firing solutions when we do get onto them. And we will be using our searchlights when we come in range. What were we doing with the Suzuya's secondaries, actually? Okay, not a problem. I think we're going to get them on spotting shells just for now. We're going to get the Makigumo to fire HE just for now. So we can see here we've flooded them with star shells. So we should be okay. Should be getting up. We just need to fire off proper shots now. So we can definitely got sights on them. Look at that. Having said that, I'm going to get the Suzuya straight back onto HE. We're going to fire narrow actually with that, and we're going to get them on AP on their main guns to rip them apart. Great stuff. Okay. What do we want to do here? Is there any more orders we can give? I'm not too sure about that. How's our waypoints going? Yep, that's a good direction because it means we're keeping pace with their supply ships. We are going to need to sink this entire fleet in this battle because if we miss any supply ships, they will land their troops and supplies while in that disengagement window that we get on the strategic map. So this is a fight to the death. Said that a bit blanny, didn't I? Fight to the death. Oh dear, it's a fight to the death. So, have we got any hits on them? They got their searchlights on. We've got ours on now. That's certainly going to help. Our solution has certainly gone up from that, which is brilliant stuff. We're going to make sure everyone's firing narrow spreads because of that. And not spotting anymore, because spotting, you don't necessarily fire to hit. You fire, of course, a spot, so which means that you fire, and whether it hits you, adjust your aim according to that, and you use the splashes in the water to measure that. So we also need to keep an eye out for torpedoes, but apart from when we first noticed them, they weren't have not been on an angle to fire torpedoes yet. I'm very tempted to fire some off at these destroyers, just to get them to move a bit. How many have we got available? Okay, we get one launcher to fire a spread of 4. We'll get them on 2 degrees at the Benson. See that we did deselect the aft facing torpedoes there. So we should be firing, really. Doesn't look like anything's gone off. Oh mate, we're taking hits. There we go, it says it's firing. Come on. Yeah, there we go, see them gone off there. And we're going to wait for that distance to go, and we're also going to change our course just a little bit, just to get a bit of a turn on. Not in that way though. There we go, taking hits now. This is going to be the deadliest part of the fight, which is why I want to change our course and our speed to put them off a bit. But it does look like we've got some decent hits on the Benson. We can see a fire going off there. That's not them laying smoke. Laying smoke would be a lot thicker. What's going on here? Look at the map. Okay, that's just a very strange pattern for our torpedoes there. Okay. Might be when we double clicked it. Not a problem. Not a problem. Akazuki, how's your fire? Your firing solution is terrible. What's you doing? To spot them again, aren't you? Is that because they're laying smoke now? Yeah, that is definitely them laying smoke. Okay, we're going to have to be very careful here because we're very susceptible to torpedoes with this formation and how close we are to them. So we're going to keep an eye out for that. They are, of course, very difficult to spot when you're on the receiving end of them. I'm actually very tempted to also try and get a manual shot off with the Suzuya here. Because the range is basically nothing. So I think that's what we're going to try. We're going to try AP narrow manual fire at roughly here. The speed is 23. They're going to be going quite quickly. Let's just see how that... Yeah, that's very quick. So if we go here and see how that works. We are going to have to wait for the reload. We can see the torpedoes coming in here. We might just clip him. There we go, we got some decent hits there. So let's hold again. Hold again, Whittington. Hopefully that slowed them down a bit. You can see that their speed is now 19 rather than back to 20. But it's... There we go, that's 2 torpedoes, so that should sink it. Let's have a look at the report. Yeah, critical, that is sunk. That's got to go down. Look at all the fires. The flooding's going to be huge. 2 torpedoes on the rear. The stern's basically gone. So, because of that, why have Suzuya and Yugamo gone off and done their own thing? That's the biggest question. Well, that's interesting. We're gonna go with it. We're gonna go with this. Get them to form up with the line ahead. The Suzuya is going to lead, and what we're going to do is bring them out like this and just form a secondary line here. So we're going to get the Makiguma and the Akazuki to form up with the line properly, and they're going to follow the orders that they're already on. They are both firing at the Benson, I believe. Great stuff. So we're going to get the Suzuya and Yugamo to fire at the Benson as well. We're going to take them off of manual at the moment and put them like this. HE's be narrow spotting as well for the secondaries. Yugamo, you can do the same, please. Let's use this because it's not working. We're going to stop that and fire at the Benson. We were already firing it apparently, so great stuff. Looks like we might have a little collision here. There we go. And of course the grid is down. Torpedoes are your best tools as the Japanese. They really are. Although they can be very hit and miss, if you'll pardon the pun, but that really is the case. Because, like I say, your firing solutions are terrible as the Japanese. But look at this, we can't see a thing. Look at all the smoke they've laid down. I've no idea if we're pointing our searchlights in the right way. Having said that, I think we're going to bring the Makigumu and the Akazuki straight up because they're clearly going to be focusing on the Suzuya and such at the moment. Look at that fire. That is... Oh, it looks like we've taken out their forward magazine as well because their guns are not facing anywhere near the right way. Hopefully that means we've taken out any torpedoes as well. We're going to make sure we're on narrow with all of our spreads here. And actually I think I'm going to get off another manual spread as well with our AP. So I'm just going to wait for them to reload. And once we've done that, I'll let them fire because their speed is 11 knots now, which is basically nothing for a destroyer. We can get that easily. Look like that might have... There we go, down. I'll count that as a hit. Brilliant. So it's just mopping up now. And of course dodging any torpedoes they've fired. I'm going to look at the Makiguma because it's on fire at the moment. Okay, so it does have a few issues there, but I think that's nothing too bad at the moment. Minor damage, minor flooding, speed's 95%. That's because we've just got it down like that at the moment. And efficiency is 96%. That's absolutely fine by me. So, of course, like I say, I'm mopping up. We're going to go for, with this group, I think we're going to go for number 1, and with the Suzuki and Yugame, we're going to go for number 4, so that we don't not constantly chasing them. Yeah, let's do that. You can go for number 1, like I say. You're going to actually. How's the sight on that? That's the problem. I can't see a bloody thing. So I think we could actually fire a few more star shells off of that. We're going to fire a full spread there. And the Akizuki is going to fire some spossing fire off, I think, with its HE. Suzuya, you can go for number 4. Secondaries need to fire spossing as well, I think. And we're going to fire off HE, I think, with this, just for a little bit, just to preserve our AP a bit. And because cargo ships should not be at all armoured. Having said that, it's made me think. It's made me think twice about that now. Where are we? So yeah, sensors and armor. They have 0 armor. Brilliant stuff. You never know. You never know. They could have had 100mm of magazine armor. I mean, that would never have happened, but you know, because 100mm is ruddy thick, dummy thick, some would say. That's a good job so far. We got rid of those destroyers very quickly, as we should have done because they were heavily outnumbered. Okay, so if that's over there, where's the number 1? Is that one? Do you reckon? Must be. Interesting. Okay, so now that we have decent solutions on there, we're going to get actual shots off, I think. No more spossing, no more star shells. Both of your narrows, please. How are you guys looking down here? I think we're going to get them on spossing fire as well. Yeah, we're going to keep them there, but we'll keep them on narrow for now, I think. This one is already a little bit battered by the looks of it. It's fighting back, so we are going to have to look out for that. Makigumo apparently no longer on horrible fires, so we do have one coming under control there, and we're repairing things with our engineers. I am going to take one off of here and put them onto the torpedoes, as that is what is more important. How are we looking over here? Lit up with star shells. The number 3 has already taken damage from Kate, I think. So great stuff there. Okay, I'm going to get back to you a bit later when something interesting happens, because at the moment it's just a bit boring watching all of this. I'll see you in a minute. So, joining me just a little bit later, we have sunk all but 2 of their ships now. You can see this number 4 cargo ship here is completely dead in the water. We're surrounding it with both Makigumo and Akizuki on the south here, and Suzuya and Yugamo in the north. We're going to change the course here just to spread out a little bit and get more guns on target. We do have a decent firing solution on number 2 here. So it should be going down rather soon, but I think number 4 is definitely going down first. Look at all of these hits we're getting here. It's the list on that as well. Let's look at the damage reports. Number 4 is critical and heavy. Number 2 is on heavy and minor. So this one's definitely going down first, especially with the larger caliber guns of the Mogami coming through. I did change to armor piercing because we're running quite low on HE. I think if we don't spot anything, we're going to have to rearm as well with this fleet very soon. But look at all of that fire coming. You love to see it. There we go, straight down. And we're just mopping up with this one here then. So we're going to do, I think we'll fire off some HE with this. Do spossing. Just to build up a solution quickly. We've had very good luck with the Suzuya at this sort of range, as you'd expect. Yeah, it's just a little matter of time now. It's just the one in the 4 there, you can see, that we're going for. That's not laying smoke, that's actual fires coming off. You can see the list as well. Let's go to it. Oh, that is beautiful. The speed is only 12 knots as well. We're getting a lot of hits in with the destroyers. Excellent stuff. It's a really nasty fire on the stern as well. I'm going to say Mogami did take a couple hits from them, but they've recovered mostly. Just got a little bit of damage on the bridge there. How's everyone else looking? No damage to Yugumo, no damage to Akizuki, and of course getting on top of what we took earlier on the Makigumo. So a very, very nice, clean engagement, I think. Would have been rather embarrassing to take heavy damage from that. And it was made a lot easier by getting rid of the Northampton with our airstrike earlier. So I think with that done, our supply ships ourselves are going to have no trouble getting to Guadalcanal and resupplying and rearming there, which is brilliant stuff. Just waiting for this to go down now. Shouldn't take long at all. But having said that, it's taken longer than I thought it would. Let's have a look again. Yeah, critical. It's just watching it go down now. Let's speed up a bit. For those that don't know, don't know how the game works. So when I've been cutting away, I've been using a time compression to speed things up like that. Speed things up by 5 times, which is brilliant. Look at that. Oh, bright eye, burning like fire. Oh, let's go back to the map, shall we? That is brilliant stuff. Absolutely devastating again. 51,500 tons of shipping has been sunk. We've gained 15 points, which is excellent stuff. That brings us up to a total of 58 points. We're gonna be cheeky and add on 30 to that because we're going to send these back to ports once we've used them. How long is it going to take them to get there now? It's going to be another 17 hours. It's far too long. We're going to keep the task force here for the moment just to protect the island in case something else is lurking about. But I think we're okay at the moment. We're going to bring up our submarine here, just do a little bit of a circle patrol and see how that goes. And not long after that, we have another surprise encounter with this task force. We didn't see anything on the map, which suggests that there's another submarine here. I'm wondering if we're getting lots of submarines here because the AI knows where our task force is, just because that's how the AI works, or if it's just that's how they're sending out their patrols. But we're going to need to look out for torpedoes. There we go. Instantly see them off of the starboard there. So, how many depth charges do we have on Makigumo? We've got 24. That should be enough to sort them out there. We're going to tell them to go off in that sort of direction. Just give me a second. I wonder if we can use the rangefinder there. Okay. Cool. It's not really helping us there. So we're going to get that to go off there. We're going to get, of course, Suzuki to brake, as we always do. And it's actually just going to reverse. That's the wrong one. That's a turn. Speed is that one. And, of course, we're going to get the Akizuki here to brake and support as well. How many depth charges do you have? You've got 20. That's fine. That would be nice to support. I'm going to get you to go max speed and a small turn to starboard there. Yugumo can also brake and retreat there. I think we're actually going to take manual control of the Makigumo here. Just might be a bit easier to dodge these torpedoes. I really hate to take one now after that engagement last night. Yeah, it looks like they're curving off a bit, so we're going to keep with this turn, actually. If you're wondering, we can actually just about see the submarine there. It's, of course, very close to the surface, as it needs to be when it fires torpedoes at periscope depth. And for those wondering why these torpedoes have curved, they do actually have, in World War II, I've forgotten the word for it now. They did have a device on them to actually give them a little bit of curvature and steering once they got fired off, but this is only for that initial burst. They're not at all homing torpedoes. We're going to go into under the surface here. See if we can spot anything. We're going to get us to go straight here. And we're going to get Akazuki actually to come up over this way and reduce their speed a bit so that we've got less noise going on. We're going to stay in this here. And we're actually going to treat this as a little bit of a lesson for fellow submarine hunters out there. So, as you may have gathered in our previous episode, this is rather a slow business. Here it is. Okay, right. That is still very close to the surface there. That is extremely close. We're going to increase our speed and give us a bit of a turn. So we're going to do an even harder turn, I think. Look at that. So what we're going to do is, I always like to fire off 2 loads of depth charges because we just know, with this technique, we just know where the submarine is. It's firing off even more depth charges at a time. That fires off a total of 12 if you fire a 2 set. Okay, so the thing here is actually trying to get your stern off on line with the submarine, because as I said earlier, the stern is where you fire your depth charges from. I think we're going to reduce our speed a little bit more here and actually increase the speed of the game. You can see it's diving, that's absolutely fine, and it does go rather fast when you get close to it. It's not something you should do when you're avoiding destroyers, because it increases the sound that you produce, and thus, there we go. So there's no problem increasing the speed of the game either using the time compression, as long as you're very eager to use the pause button. But as I was saying, if you increase the noise you're using or creating as a submarine, obviously it's easier for sonar to pick you up there. So we're going to go to normal speed now. I think we're travelling at a decent speed. It does look like they've not stopped, so that's fine. We are going to just carry on a tad like this. Possibly could have dropped depth charges there, but I like to get ahead of them just a little bit, because you do need to still account for the lead you take, because they will of course drop and travel down before they explode. Sounds rather obvious, but you know, people miss it. So that's not exactly lined up, is it? But you can still hit them like this. So we're going to fire off a few like that, and we're going to, I think, reduce our speed a little bit. I'm just going to go to surf. You can see there, they're on a fair line. We're getting the further spreads off. We are still straddling it, that's fine. You don't need to get direct hits with depth charges. Not at all. We're just going to make sure we don't get a collision with the Akazuki here. Going to tell her to climb back and do that, I think. Just going to watch that. Yeah, that'll do. Brilliant stuff. Cool, we're going to get her to stop so she doesn't produce any noise. We're going to go back here. We can see there. We're going to increase our own speed and then fire off another drop of torpedoes. What we could do, actually, if we were really efficient, but this takes a lot of skill, is actually get the Yugumo and the Akazuki here to form up in a line abreast and actually straddle the submarine, so that one either side, and both get depth charges off, and it would have absolutely no escape then. But yeah, I mean, who knows what playing efficiently is, eh? No, this way is fine as well. It's a nice beginner strategy for you. So we're going to get a little bit more lead on there, and we're going to fire now, I think. And again, reduce our speed so we don't overshoot it. I find the AI likes to park their submarines right under your destroyers just to be chads, and then as soon as you start dropping, they increase their speed like an oh shit moment. Oh, I get some nice direct hits there. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. Yeah, see, it's picking up its speed now that we've hit it. We're going to get a report on. It says moderate damage so far. So we're gonna fire off another spread as it's coming closer. There you go. Look at that. Coming straight into our torpedoes. Not torpedoes, our depth charges there. Don't know why I said torpedoes. Okay, how are you doing? I think we're going to reverse actually. Bring us ourselves over and increase our speed a little bit. And once we're basically matching their speed there, so we're going to do that. And drop off even more depth charges. We've got to be getting low on them actually now. Yeah, we've only got a few left, so we're going to have to attack with the Akazuki. That's not a problem. So, with that being said, we're going to get the Makiguma to go off there. We're going to take control of the Akazuki, increase its speed, and I guess it's a turn round a bit. There we go. Now, guess it to go straight here. Should be pretty much in line with the Makiguma there. That'd be okay. It's taking rather a long time, but like I said, it is just a waiting game when you're hunting submarines. I think we've almost lost sight of it. There we go. Because your vision is terrible as well. And I mean that personally. There we go. Excellent stuff. Go straight, please. Alright, mate. Got another delivery for you. You know it's Christmas time, don't you? Nearly. Don't get me started. Alright, let's reduce our speed a little bit there. He's getting closer and closer to the surface there. That means that he's taken more flooding. And it's more difficult for him to stay at disgustingly deep surfaces, or depth rather. There's only one surface. Yeah. I had this the other day in my personal playthrough where I was using a submarine of my own to attack a carrier fleet, which I'm hoping to do in this series. But somehow they just knew I was there and sent a load of planes with depth charges exactly where I was. And once you take on some sort of flooding, it's really difficult to dive down, and actually it's very difficult to maintain a specific depth because you just because you're flooding. Of course, you bring your weight up, and the submarine's doing everything it can to actually get to a surface depth. It's very, very difficult when that happens. We should be getting very close to sinking it now. It's on heavy. We're gonna park ourselves right on top of it. There we go. Yeah, he knows we're here. What we're looking for is for him to blow all of the water straight out and just surface. That's also a really good thing to happen. We'll notice that when a load of, you see the trails out of here will look like that, but out the sides of the submarine. See a load of, airstreams come out like that. I think we're going to fire off some more depth charges here. If he were a tad higher, if he were, yeah, he is at periscope depth, I think, isn't he? Wait for that to dissipate. Yeah. What we could try, actually, is getting some shots off our stern here. There we go. There we go. Can hit him before he's even surfaced properly. Best way to take on a submarine there. We're going to adjust our aim just a little bit. There we go. He's gone. Alright, hold please. Stop firing. And we're going to go. But I thought I said no, it's not going to stop, is it? But look at that. Submarine down. We'll see what it was when we retreat, shall we? So that's a nice 3 points there. Let's look at enemy losses. There's a lot of cargo ships there. So that was a Tambor. We get a Tambor and a Geisho as the US. Again, no real difference here other than test depth, I think. So, I think that is actually going to do it for this episode. We have been recording for quite some time, and that engagement did take us on for quite a long time. I would have liked to have landed our troops in this episode, but it's got to be the next one, I'm afraid. So I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you all very, very much for watching. And, you know, if you're new here and would like to see more, get a notification, please do subscribe. You know, I would love to see that. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. I've been the Edified Gamer, and I hope all your nights and days are auspicious. Goodbye.